The Pool by Ruskin Bond. It was going to rain. I could see the rain moving across the Himalayan foothills. And I could smell it in the air. But instead of turning homewards, I pushed my way forward through the leaves and brambles that grew across the forest path. I had heard the sound of rushing water at the bottom of the hill. I had to slide down a rock face into the small ravine, and there I found the stream running over a bed of shingle. I removed my sandals and started walking upstream. Water trickled down from the hillside from amongst ferns and grasses and wildflowers. The hills, rising steeply on either side, kept the ravine in shadow. The rocks were smooth, almost soft. Most of them were grey and some yellow. A small waterfall came down the rocks and formed a deep round pool of apple green water. When I saw the pool, I turned and ran home because I wanted to tell the others. It began to rain, but I didn't stop to take shelter. I ran all the way home. I had two close friends, Anil and Somi. Anil lived in a crowded lane of Dilaram Bazaar, Dehradun. He was wild and little dangerous, subject to sudden changes of moods and impulses. Somi, on the other hand, was sensitive and gentle in his ways, but in common with Anil, he had a sense of fun and an instinct for adventure. And though I studied in a class higher than theirs, they were usually chose the adventures we were to have, and I would just grumble and get involved unwillingly. But the pool was my own discovery, and I was proud of it. We called it Rusty's Pool, said Somi. Anil, remember, it's a sacred pool. No one else must know. I think it was pool that brought us together more than anything else. Somi was the best swimmer. He dived off rocks and went gliding about under the water like a graceful golden fish. Anil had long legs and arms, and he thrashed about with much vigor but little skill. I could dive off a rock too, but I usually landed on my stomach. There were slim silver fish in the stream. At first we tried catching them with a line, but they soon learned the art of taking the bait without being caught on the hook. Next we procured a bed sheet and stretched it across one end of the stream, but the fish wouldn't come eventually near it. Eventually Anil, without telling us, brought along a stick of gunpowder. Somi and I were startled out of an afternoon siesta by a flash across the water and a deafening explosion. Half the inside tumbled into the pool and Anil along with it, but we got him out along with a good supply of stunned fish. The effects of the explosion gave Anil another idea, and that was to enlarge our pool by building a dam across one end. This he accomplished with our combined labor, but he had chosen the monsoon season, and one day a torrent of water came rushing down the bed of the stream, bursting the dam and flooding the ravine. Our clothes were carried out by the current, and we had to wait till night before creeping home through the darkest byways. Somi was spotted at a street corner, but he stimulated the stance of a naked Sakudhu and began calling for alms. He finally slipped in through the back door of his house without being recognized. Our other activities included wrestling and buffalo riding. We wrestled on a strip of sand that ran beside the stream and rode on a couple of buffaloes that sometimes came to drink water and wallow in the more muddy parts. We would sit astride the buffaloes and kick and yell and urge them forward, but on no occasion could we get them to move. At best they would roll over their backs, taking us with them into the pool of slush. Of course it didn't matter how muddy we got, because we had only to dive into the pool to get rid of it all. If it was possible to get out of our house undetected at night, we would come to the pool and bath by the moonlight. We bathed silently because the stillness of the surrounding jungle seemed to discourage high spirits, but sometimes Somi would sing and we would float red, long-fingered poinsettias down the stream. I don't know how we broke up, because we hardly noticed it at that time. We never really believed that we are finally parting or that we are leaving the pool. After about a year, Somi passed his matriculation and entered the military academy. When I saw him a year ago, he sported a fierce and very military mustache. Shortly after Somi left, Anil and his family left town. I haven't seen him again. I can't visualize him in any conventional occupation as he was so wild and unpredictable, and yet sometimes I wonder. Those who are wild when young often grow up to be responsible citizens. And what of the pool? I visited it last week. After an interval of 4 years, at first I couldn't find it. I found a ravine and the bed of shingle, but there was no water. The stream has changed its course, just as we changed ours. I turned away in disappointment, but with a dull ache in my heart. It was cruel for the pool to disappear, but I hadn't gone far when I heard the sound of rushing water and the shouting of boys. And pushing my way through the jungle, I found another stream and another pool with half a dozen boys splashing about in the water. They did not see me, and I kept in the shadows of the trees and watched them play, but I didn't really see them. I was seeing Somi and Anil and the lazy old buffaloes. I stood there for nearly an hour like a spirit romping again in the shallows of a secret pool.